You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Oh yeah, Monday and phase 2! Yeah, welcome to The Scrimmage. We are back in the studio. Good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. I am Daniel Hargrove, pegging out the recording because Andrew forgot he had to be prepared for when I just come screaming onto the microphone.
That's my co-host, Daniel Hargrove. I am another co-host, Justin Domashevitz. We've also got our trusty producer, Andrew Gross, here with us in Phase 2. It feels good to be back in the studio. It feels good to be here. It feels good to have things to talk about. You know, it's funny that throughout this whole thing, I feel like there's been storylines constantly. Thank you, NFL, for operating business as usual, because we've had lots of stuff and we've got more Seahawks storylines today.
Absolutely. We have so much to talk about. And thank you again to our sponsors, Ole Penn Real Estate, State Farm agent Mark Rossetti, and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz for sponsoring our show today so we can spend time talking about sports and you can listen to it. And first, we'll get it going with the 2-minute drill. It's not just a home or a car, it's the 6 months you save to get your Ultra HD flat screen just in time for football season. It's the overtime you worked for that third car so that your team can drive themselves to practice. While other insurance companies just see them as a bundle or a combo, State Farm agent Mark Rossetti sees your home and car as things you work really hard for. Mark understands what your things really mean to you and is here to help you give them the protection they deserve. Visit Mark Rossetti at 613 Oak Street in Aberdeen for your home and auto insurance today.
Let's go, huddle up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball to the ref. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
2-minute drill brought to you by State Farm agent Mark Rossetti. The Seattle Seahawks 4th-round pick DeeJay Dallas announced on Twitter that he will wear Cam Chancellor's former number 31 this season. Many Seahawks fans were not thrilled with the decision, calling it uncomfortable and shameful, and even suggesting the number should be retired. Justin, what do you think about Dallas' decision to wear the number 31?
I'm actually fine with it. I think it's kind of cool to carry on the legacy of someone who was considered to be a great player on your team. I feel better about that than I do about the retirement of numbers. I don't completely understand the reason for, hey, this guy was really great, let's never let someone wear his number again. So I don't know, I don't agree with the fact that the number should be retired. And DeeJay Dallas did reach out to Cam Chancellor and say, hey buddy, you're scary, would it be cool if I wear your number? And I think that's kind of cool. It does, however, put a bit of pressure on him to be physically imposing, because no matter what, Cam Chancellor was here pretty recently, and people are going to see a number 31 out there and expect him to thump people. So as long as he is ready for the pressure and willing to be in there and be physical and live up to the hype, then I have no problem with this whatsoever. Shaquille O'Neal said on the Rich Eisen show on Monday that his three-peat Lakers would have beaten the three-peat Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman because, quote, nobody would be able to guard him. Daniel, do you agree with Shaq's assessment, his very arrogant assessment of himself?
Yeah. I saw firsthand what it was like when Shaq was in his prime playing for the Lakers, going up against my Blazers in a sick Western Conference Finals matchup. And it sucked as a Blazers fan because Shaquille O'Neal was absolutely amazing. He was a physical freak, and the Blazers even had a big, sturdy center in Arvydas Sabonis. But he was a little past his prime and couldn't keep up with him physically with A, how quick he was, and B, how strong he was, even though he had the size to do it, both height and kind of stocky build. And I just watched him get battered and bruised every night, every game. And Justin, I think you mentioned when we were talking about this off the show, people forget about how good Shaq was because he just kind of lingered in the league for so long. Retired Boston Celtic Paul Pierce made waves earlier this week when he left LeBron James out of his top 5 NBA players list. What? Justin, how dumb is Paul Pierce?
This shouldn't bother me, but it does.
Oh, of course it does.
Because I'm pretty
LeBron.
sure it shouldn't bother me because I'm pretty sure the reason why ESPN keeps putting Paul Pierce back on the air is because everyone needs a dummy to laugh at. Like if you go and Google dumbest things Paul Pierce has said, you'll find things like Steph Curry is not a point guard. Steph Curry is a wing. Paul Pierce claimed himself to be a greater perimeter shooter than Klay Thompson.
What?
He said that his career was better than Dwayne Wade's. Also, 2 years ago, he said LeBron is a top 5 player. Now he's saying LeBron's not a top 5 player. What happened in 2 years, Paul? I think basically Paul Pierce views himself as LeBron's nemesis, where everyone outside of Paul Pierce, who has an incredibly inflated opinion of himself, views them as not on the same level. And it's a shame because Paul Pierce was a great NBA player in his time. All he's doing right now is tarnishing his legacy. Stop it, Paul Pierce. Leave LeBron alone. The NFL is considering replacing the onside kick this season with a 4th and 15 play from a team's own 25-yard line. Each team could utilize the proposed new rule twice per game. Daniel, do you like this proposal, and will it make the games more exciting?
More exciting than they currently are? Yes, because onside kicks are virtually impossible right now. So this 4th and 15 play, one shot to continue your chance, I like it. I think it'll be really fun. Also, I'm hoping that teams come up with really creative plays for these situations because they have one shot to get 15 yards to try and extend the game and give themselves a chance to go and win the game next. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. And I think the numbers for converting a 4th and 15 and the old onside kick kind of line up percentage-wise. So I think it's going to be really interesting. Also, I'd much rather see Russell Wilson with the ball in his hands on a 4th and 15 than, hey, whoever the Seahawks kicker is this year, try and squib one not out of bounds and give us a chance to get the ball with some random special teams dudes. So yeah, I'm all about this. Extra long buzzer, I felt like there.
You
Andrew-
always think it's extra long.
Andrew
It is the
didn't-
normal end of the game buzzer.